Hello Builder. Today I want to share with you a super simple yet super powerful n8n workflow. It lets you bulk generate hyper-realistic voices using the ElevenLabs API. ElevenLabs is the industry leading AI voice generation service. So it has the ability to produce incredible synthetic voice with emotions, accents, tones, and more. Listen.
Hello Builder. In today's video, I am excited to show you a new automation workflow.
But ElevenLabs doesn't have yet an official integration in our favorite automation tool, n8n. But no worry, we can bypass this with the HTTP request node and a very simple setup. In this video, I will walk you through everything step by step, so you should follow a bit carefully, but I promise it's really worth it. So here is what we will be building. As you can see, it's a very simple workflow. It will take as an input this Google spreadsheet with on each line one text to be transformed into a voice and the possibility to choose a character, and the output when we run the workflow, it's producing this. So it converts the text into very efficient voices in MP3 uploaded to our Google Drive. So the system processes all the rows in bulk, and it's super useful for tons of different use cases. So scalable content production, adaptable for many pipelines, and everything that comes with fully automated voice generation. So let's break it down step by step together. But before, just a few words, because maybe you don't know n8n. n8n is by far my favorite automation tool. As you can see in this screen, it has a very fast, accelerating, growing interest. Like you can see, since December 24, the world is becoming very crazy about n8n, and I think it's deserving the hype. Another good news about n8n is that they secured $55 million in Series B. So it's the proof that they are going somewhere and they are backed with a lot of money and they are producing a very good tool. And I love n8n because it's open source, you can self-host it, and it's node-based, so you can create your own workflow, very simple to very complicated. So I think it's a very good moment for you to learn n8n if you are into AI automation and building cool stuff on internet. I think it's a bit changing the way we do project, but it does it well. And just to flex here, you can see there is one of my templates which is featured in the n8n workflow. I'm quite proud of that. It was also about ElevenLabs. Everything that we will be building together in this workflow today, you can access for free in the AI Atelier. The AI Atelier is a school community that we created with my friend Thais from Brazil. We are now a bit more than 230. So the community is growing fast. We just released it. So it's definitely a hot topic, automation and AI. So join us if you want to build cool stuff. You will also get the template of the Google Sheet here because there is some little function that can be useful for you, also for free in the community. So you will find the link in the description. Inside this community, we talk about AI and automation in a broad sense, but lately we have diving deep into video automation. And honestly, what is possible to do today is completely insane. So we've made a fully automated workflow that produces end-to-end short videos for YouTube, and I tell you a bit more about this at the end of the video. Let's dive in the workflow in details. So this workflow starts with a form. So let's run the workflow. Let's test it like that. So it opens, as you can see, a little form like that, where we can provide the title of the content we are producing, like demo content. Here we can pass the URL of the Google Sheet we want to use, and here the URL of the Drive folder where we want to generate the MP3. So let's submit and pin the data so we can work with the workflow. This is a way to begin. You will probably want to adapt that to your need, but I wanted to showcase this approach, which is, I think, very efficient and very simple. The second node is a Google Sheet node designed to list all the rows in a document. So in our case, we want to list the scripts of this document, right? We have connected our credential for Google. We have chosen the sheet within document, get rows, and in the URL here, we have placed the URL we received from the form. So I show you, you just drag and drop like that, and you test, and you see that you receive 17 lines with the characters, the script, and the voice ID. Perfect, this is exactly what we want. Okay, let's continue to the next node. The next node is calling ElevenLabs API. So as I said, there is no node in n8n today that connects to ElevenLab, but that's not an issue. You can do it using the HTTP node. Just for you to know, I created a custom node, n8n nodes ElevenLabs, that does that. That does a quite advanced integration of ElevenLab into n8n. But since it's a custom node, it only works if you self-host. So I'm not showing it too much, and I don't develop it too much right now, because I think a lot of people are using the hosted by n8n instance. So I think using HTTP is, in most cases, what you will need to be doing. Okay, so how does it work? In the HTTP node, we choose the post method here. Here we give this URL, which is the API of ElevenLabs with the method text to speech, and we pass as parameter the voice ID that we get from here, from the script. Here we drag and drop the voice ID. Okay. For the authentication, to be able to connect to our ElevenLabs account, we use generic credential type, custom auth, and I will show you at the end of the video how to get the API key from ElevenLabs and set everything in n8n so it works. It's very simple. Then we just need to add some extra data. We check send header. We have to add content type application/JSON. You really don't need to understand that. And what's important here and interesting is the body, where we will pass the script. Here we have the script. So we pass the script from the previous node. I do a replace all quote because I identified that sometimes when I had some quote, etc., the script bugs. So I just remove the quote and replace them by nothing. You have two additional parameters, generate voice and stability. You can play around with those to find something that suits your need. You could also make them dynamic and pass them as parameter in the Google Sheet if you like. For me, 0.8 is in most cases the good setup. And last but not least for this node, very important, the batching option. You need to add a batching option because you cannot ask ElevenLabs to generate more than 5 voices at the same time. So with n8n, it's very simple. You can just do items per batch. You put 5, and here in milliseconds, I've put 5 seconds. In my case, it's enough because, as you can see, the texts are quite short, but you might be willing to increase this duration a bit if you are working with longer text. Let's move to the next node. So this node will upload the generated MP3, the generated audio to your Google Drive. So where on your Google Drive here you need to drag and drop the URL from the first node. Remember in the form we have asked for the destination drive folder. So very simple here, we just drag and drop here the drive folder URL. And then we want to name the file. So for this, I have made some concatenation. So we are concatenating pieces of text. The first part of the name is the title that we get from the form. Here, demo content. Then we want a little dash. Then we want a number. For me, it's important because I want the MP3 to be ordered the same way than I have in my Google Sheet, like that. So demo title 1, 2, 3, etc. So for this, I use the raw number, which I get from here, even from list scripts. The raw number is the raw number here, easy. And I do -1 because the row starts at 2, since first row is just for the name of the column. So I do -1, so here it starts at 1 and not at 2, simple. And then I add the character name, so it's easy to understand who says what. So in my editing process after, it's easy if I have the name. For me, I like to do it that way. And .mp3, so I know it's an mp3. Perfect, so I run this node and it worked. And we arrive at our final node. For this, I use a form ending node. You can find it like that. Form, n8n form, form ending. And I just want the form to redirect to the Google Drive folder. So here I have the option redirect to URL, and I also drag and drop the URL from the first node. And that's it. The workflow is very simple, but very powerful. Now I want to quickly show you the Google Sheet. I really love to use Google Sheet in my n8n workflow. Honestly, I think I'm using Google Sheet in 99% of my workflow. It's just too good because of all the features of Google Sheet, because you can collaborate on it, because it's super simple to manipulate. You have the formulas, history management, so you can roll back. It's super simple. So I really like to use Google Sheet as my main database for almost all my workflows. This sheet has 2 sheets. The first one is the scripts. It contains the scripts, and the second one contains the voices, the character. So as you can see in the first script tab, I have column A, the character, so I can choose between Kagami, the ninja, and the samurai. Then I have the script, here what will be spoken, and here I have the voice ID. The voice ID comes from ElevenLabs, and the voice ID here is dynamically detected based on the character. For example, here if I change the last line to the samurai, you see that it's changed automatically the voice ID. I like to do it that way. You could do it in the n8n workflow, but for me, I prefer to manipulate the data in the Google Sheet and just to remove some logic from the workflow, so the workflow is simpler. This is why I created the voice sheet with 2 columns, the character and voice ID. So it's a mapping table, so I could add many characters here and many voice IDs. So it's very simple. And how it works for the drop down, if you know a bit Google Sheet, this is something you know very well. You go to data validation, and for the voice ID here, it's a bit more complex. I really like this system. It's an array formula that is written in the first cell here. So it's this formula that does the mapping between the voice tab and this. So basically it says that for all the cells below, it will look, it will do a lookup, VLOOKUP here. It will seek for the name in this sheet, and it will give the voice ID. It will write the voice ID. And that's very cool because you can see that I do not have formula in those cells, only one at the top. So it's very clean, and below it's empty if I have nothing. So yeah, this is the magical formula. I use it in almost all projects, and don't worry, you don't need to try to copy it. You can access it via the template you can get in the AI Atelier for free. Let's conclude with the most important part of this workflow. It's ElevenLabs, the heart of the workflow. ElevenLabs is really insanely powerful when it comes to generate ultra realistic voices. You can even clone your own voice from a few audio samples, and the result is really mind-blowing. So here is how it works. You can log in, create an account. I will not show you that. It's very simple. You can try the API with a free account, so you don't need to pay. If you want to start to play around, you don't need to pay. If you want to create an ElevenLabs account, please support my work and use the affiliate link in the description. It would be very helpful for me. Here is the interface. You can transform text hello you into a voice. You can choose here the voices, etc. I will not show you that, but we do exactly that, but in our workflow. And what we need in ElevenLabs are a way to get the character, the voice ID here. So you can find them like that. You can, for example, copy voice ID here, and you can see that this is the voice ID of Kagami. So it's very simple to get the voice IDs from ElevenLabs. Like that. And last thing I wanted to show is the API key. So when you click on your name, you go to API keys here. So you have several API keys. You can create a new one. Timo API key create. I can copy this API key here. And final thing, most boring thing is always the credential. I show you. It's not fun, but very, very simple for connecting ElevenLabs to n8n. Everything is documented in the setup, posted here, but I show you quickly. You go to the HTTP node. Here in authentication, you choose generic credential type. Then you choose custom auth. You have several options. You can choose custom auth like that. And here, if you do not have one, you can create new credential like that. And you paste what I have written here, and you just replace the API key with your ElevenLabs API key, and it's done. So it's very, very simple, and you just save, and your workflow will be connected to your ElevenLabs account. That's what I wanted to show you today. I personally use this process in my automated video production system. For example, I just download the zip of all the MP3 and I upload them, I add them to a CapCut project, and for editing it's super simple. You just manipulate the voices as you want. So it's a key building block in content automation, video content automation. But of course, we can go way, way further. I even made a full proof of concept of a completely automated video production pipeline, from ID generation, content curation, script writing, animated avatar creation with ElevenLabs, voices and hygiene, automatic subtitle burned in the video, automatic editing, automated SEO metadata writing for YouTube, and finally, auto-publishing to YouTube. It's really a big workflow that I took a lot of time to create. And honestly, I'm really not a big fan of fully automated content with zero human touch. I think it's often just noise and low quality output. I did this workflow, this fully automated workflow, for the technical challenge because I love pushing boundaries and explore the possibility of automation. So I really encourage you to check that video because it's so much fun. May we build with purpose.